I'm 27 years old. It's time to get married. After a happy party with a blushing face and heartbeat, I proposed my resignation to the president. He gave me a diamond ring bigger than rock candy and a house. Happiness came so suddenly that I served him so satisfied. Now that I am also a rich man, I immediately blocked him and went on a blind date. Unexpectedly, he said that I was pregnant in front of my blind date. 1. If you don't get married or have children, no one will burn paper for you when you die. Urging to get married, my mother called the eternal topic. Mom, keep your voice spur. I'm in the company. I hid in the toilet with my phone covered and whispered. Your cousin is 3 months older than you. Now she has 2 children, and the older one is in kindergarten. My mother continued to export angrily. Shocked me for 100 years. When my cousin was unmarried at a young age, didn't my mother say that if I dared to learn from her, she would break my leg? Now it has become full of praise. I Gujua, the assistant CEO of Yin's Group, who doesn't praise me for my young and beautiful career. Now because I don't have a boyfriend, I have become the key target of criticism for the whole family's party. Okay, Mom, I'm still at work. I'll talk to you when I go back. I immediately decided to cut off the phone. Let me tell you, Gujua, you are 27 years old. If you don't find me a partner, don't go home for the spring festival. Your father and I can't afford to lose this person. I was going to hang up the phone, but I accidentally pressed I-10-0. The sound of my mother's roar resounded throughout the women's toilet. When I flushed, I was even embarrassed to wash myself away. Why did you go? In Kai sat in the office chair and drank coffee while looking at the statement handed over by the finance department. When he saw me enter the door, he said without raising his head. I was angry when I saw his light appearance. People have 3 urgent questions, I replied angrily. He put down the report and raised his eyebrows to look at me. You are so irritable, pregnant? My sister, I may have fried chicken, grilled fish, hot pot, stinky tofu, and snail rice noodles in my stomach, but I can never have children. I complained silently in my heart. No. What does the president want to do? Forget it, Jinju Dad. I meditated 3 times and I can't get along with money. You can follow up on the contract signed with Ans 2 days ago tomorrow. I don't feel at ease with others. Should I thank you for your reuse? Tomorrow is Saturday. You Joe Pipey. Okay, is there anything else you can tell me? I asked while taking away the coffee cup he had finished drinking. This muscle memory is simply skillful and heartbreaking. He lowered his head again and began to read the contract, and a sentence came at the same time. Wash up at night and wait for me. 2. I have 2 identities, In Kai's assistant during the day and his lover at night. He is completely 2 people in bed and in the company. He is a cold and domineering president in the company, but he is a gentle and considerate bedmate in bed. The key is to do a good job. The point is the one in the back, otherwise I wouldn't be able to be with him for 6 years. But now I decided to showdown with him. Every profession has a lifespan, especially a lover. At present, it's time for him to give me a breakup fee, and we can get together and break up. After that, I was as tired as a dead fish on the bed and didn't want to move at all. Obviously, he was the one who contributed. Why was I so tired? After taking a shower, he only put a bath towel around his waist. Although he didn't have abdominal muscles, there was no fat all over his body. His waist was thin and his shoulders were wide, and he had a standard male dog figure. I have been with him for 6 years, and every time I see this skin, I still feel ashamed of my heart. I'm 27 years old. It's time to get married. To be honest, I have expectations in my heart. Are you 27? He looked at me in shock, as if he was saying that he slept with such an old woman. It was a loss. You are 30 this year. The expectation suddenly disappeared, and I was unwilling to show weakness to remind him. He pressed me under his body again and reacted. What? Do you want to marry me? I cooperated with him to move. He was already sober and no longer had unrealistic illusions. He said half-jokingly, "It's nothing. Why should I marry you? I want to say that it's time for us to end. It's your turn to give me a little youth compensation. It's time for me to take the money to find a little handsome man to bring back to my parents." But before I could say it, I was gagged by him. 3. Sitting in the back of the taxi, I humbly begged the taxi driver while cursing In Kai, the bastard, in my heart. "Master, can you hurry up? I'm going to be late." I made an appointment with the person in charge of Ans at 10 a.m., and now it's 9:40 a.m. It's all because In Kai went crazy last night and tossed and turned until midnight. Otherwise, how could I have forgotten to set the alarm clock and overslept now? Little girl, I'm driving a car, not a helicopter. There's a traffic jam ahead. How can I fly there? The driver turned the steering wheel and motioned me to look at the long convoy in front of him. It's over. I looked at the dark convoy in front of me in despair. The person in charge of Anne's family is famous for his strong sense of time. If the contract that was about to be finalized was blown because of my lateness, I would shiver and dare not think about it carefully. The weather in January has become colder. In order to be greedy for a good-looking tweed coat, it was not warm at all. The bone-chilling cold wind hit my face. I pedaled the shared bicycle hard and cried silently from the bottom of my heart. I won't lose my job. I don't distinguish between day and night. Working on the ground, serving him from inside and outside, there are no merits and hardships. Kai should not be so ruthless, right? It was already 10:30 when I arrived at Anne's group. I ran out of breath and found the receptionist at the front desk, but I was told that the person in charge had made an appointment and was talking now. Please be sure to explain to your person in charge that I went to the obstetric examination because I was pregnant. The doctor said that the baby in my stomach was not in good condition, so I did a few more examination items which delayed it. Please don't be angry with him. I told a lie without blinking. Anyway, I will resign after a while with the breakup fee. Let's stabilize this side first. The receptionist looked at me sympathetically. Don't worry, I will definitely transfer the person in charge to the position. You are pregnant and still come out to run business. Your company is so inhumane. Thinking of the culprit who made me so embarrassed, I replied sadly. That's not true. I worked overtime until midnight yesterday. Anyway, it's all about serving Kai. It's okay for me to say that. In the pitying eyes of the little girl at the front desk, I sat down in the chair in the lobby of their company and planned to wait for the person in charge to talk to him. Because I was too tired, I leaned directly on the chair and fell asleep. When I woke up, I was wearing a black down jacket. This familiar smell. Sure enough, Kai sat next to me in a gray sweater and knocked on the computer. His long legs overlapped at will. The bridge of his tall nose looked more three-dimensional from the side, and his eyes were staring at the computer screen. Not only serious women are the most charming, but also serious men are the most charming. Several girls around he pointed and whispered about something. TSK. He knew what they were thinking by looking at their eyes. But why did Kai appear here? Seeing that I woke up, he closed the computer and unceremoniously took off my down jacket. The sudden loss of warmth made me subconsciously grab his down jacket. He pulled it for a while, but it didn't move. The scene is a little awkward now. I just subconsciously let go of my hand, and Kai fell directly back to the chair. Looking at his patient expression, his buttocks should not be very uncomfortable. However, as a president, he can't do the action of rubbing his buttocks in public, and the blue veins of his temples are suffocated. I was so happy that I couldn't help laughing out loud. Is it funny? He asked me in a low voice angrily, and I quickly stopped laughing. He continued, Are you a pig? Didn't I leave a sticky note for you and say that I would help you negotiate the contract today? Brother, who wakes up and finds that he has overslept and still has the heart to find what kind of sticky notes you are talking about. Don't you have a mobile phone? Won't you say it on your mobile phone? You can tell me directly on your mobile phone next time. Oh no, there will be no next time. I didn't have time to make it clear last night. Later I fell asleep because I was tired and had a showdown with him in a moment. I'm not afraid that the sound of mobile phone messages will disturb you. I have a habit. Because I am afraid of missing some important information, my mobile phone will never be muted. Several times when Kai moved on me, he was so scared by the sudden ringing of his mobile phone that he almost surrendered. I was at a loss for a moment and didn't dare to speak. He slowed down for a moment as if it didn't hurt so much. He got up and got dressed. Let's go. I consciously took his computer and followed him like a dog's leg. Strange, this is not the direction of going back to his house, nor is it back to my house. 5. In front of a large shopping mall, Kai finally stopped the car. Pick one. In front of a luxury jewelry counter, Kai pointed to the ring on the display table and said, Are you going to propose? I dispelled this idea in just 0.01 seconds. Other people's marriage proposals should be more romantic and elaborate. It's definitely not so perfunctory, unless it's to send a lover. Oh, is this my breakup fee? Is it possible that we are so kind-hearted that he understands what I mean without me opening my mouth? Or did he want to dump me long ago? Looking at the brilliant jewelry, I was a little excited. Time is a little rushed. It's too late to customize. You can choose one you like, he said again. I understand. It's my fault that I said it too hastily. Their rich people are like this. They think it's cheesy to take money directly. In fact, I don't mind at all. I'm just a local gull. If you can, please kill me with the evil money. It's okay. It's fine here. I hurriedly opened my mouth to express my satisfaction. Well, then you choose one first. I'll make up a good one for you later. Does the president also draw big cakes? After that, when we split up, I guess he will pretend not to know me and ask me to give way when I stand in front of him. I feel a little sad when I think of that scene. Alas, I don't want to, it's important to make money. That I chose the most expensive one without hesitation. Just kidding, 6 years of youth. Moreover, Kai, an evil capitalist, is not short of money. He can get as much as he can. Capitalist wool, don't be polite. Looking at the ring as big as a pigeon egg in my hand with satisfaction, I brazenly asked, "Can I choose another one?" Kai looked at me with a complicated expression. For a long time his eyebrows stretched. So refreshing. If I had known, I would have said a few more. So I happily picked another one, but when I saw another big diamond ring, Kai's expression seemed to be constipated. "Aren't too cheap? Does the meat hurt?" Looking at Kai with the envious eyes of the counter lady, I have begun to plan how to sell it. Sitting in his car again, I couldn't put it down and admired the diamond ring in my hand. My family, it was really big and shiny. I didn't dare to buy such a big rock candy. 6. I'm thinking about how to say something to him which is sensational. Kai suddenly said, "Have you brought your ID card? Do you still need to sign a contract to break the relationship?" Just kidding, is I Guju that kind of person? I brought it. This is for the sake of the ring. It's not that I don't have the backbone. He took a strange look. "Why do you take your ID card with you?" "I have not only my ID card but also yours. Otherwise, how do you think you want to take a plane? If you want to book a hotel, you can book a hotel. Rely on brushing your face? 365 days a year, I have been helping him deal with all kinds of affairs, from contract documents to coffee underwear. It can be said that he is more dedicated than a nanny. Habit, hee. Forget it, he just threw a lot of money for me. Be gentle." We came to the law firm. Alas, this dogman really didn't worry about me. Rent the house to her name. The surprise came so suddenly. I'm a little confused. House? What kind of house? Is it his apartment in the city center? I'm so satisfied with his service. My damn charm. When I came out of the housing bureau with the real estate certificate, I was still floating when I walked. Happiness came too suddenly. If I had known that he was so generous, I should have broken up earlier. It's too superior. Later, Kai seemed to say something like asking me to take care of my health. I didn't want to listen and agreed perfunctorily. That is to say, I can't extricate myself from the XD of being immersed in the XD of wealth. 7. After splitting hands, I jumped from a bitter social animal to the middle class. This kind of class leap made me a little confused. I decided to resign and get a more relaxed job. What? Why do you still have to work? Don't ask, asking is the soul of social animals. When I went to the personnel department with the resignation letter, I happened to hear several women gossiping inside and I overheard it. "Do you know that the president is getting married? Who are you with?" I didn't hear that he had a boyfriend before. So suddenly, "Let's get married from a rich family. Their family definitely doesn't need feelings to get married. Let's play separately." Right. Let me tell you what kind of boss outside, not to mention Xiao San, Xiao Si, Xiao Wu are all. Later their topic began to divert to others. I just said, "Why you are so generous." It turned out that he wanted to gag me with money because he was going to get married. I'm afraid I'll make trouble in front of his new wife. Humph. Then he looks down on me too much. Oh no, he looks down on money too much. Sister Gu, why did you suddenly quit your job? So urgent. Shaoan from the personnel department asked me puzzledly. My father won the lottery and asked me to go home to inherit the family business. It's no different from winning the lottery. Anyway, they all get rich overnight. Oh, congratulations. In the eyes of Shaoan's envy, I proudly turned around and left. The rich are so happy. I sold the ring with satisfaction. Although the price difference of more than 100,000 yuan was discounted, I was still happy to see the many more zeros in my account. Mom, didn't you say last time that you would introduce me to someone? Send me the photos quickly. I'm going home for a blind date right now. 8. When my mother got the news, she felt that I had finally figured it out and went to Zhongluo immediately. I lay in bed with satisfaction and picked up a blind date partner with my mobile phone like the emperor choosing a concubine. I booked tomorrow's flight and plan to fly home directly. Rich people can book air tickets temporarily without caring about their high price. Thinking of those days of grabbing special tickets, I can't help sighing again. It's good to have money. Everything is very good. The only thing that is not happy is that the agent said that the house is not easy to sell, and it may be suspended for a while. However, I have handed over the full authority to the intermediary company. Just sit and wait for the money. He looked at the man sitting in front of me boredly, with no characteristics, and wearing black-framed glasses. I'm the national career editor. The man on the opposite side said with a smoky face. Civil servant, he said it so well. I took a sip of Coke and listened to him continue. I heard that Miss Gu has resigned now. I also think it's not good for girls to focus too much on their careers, and they should return to their families more. However, when we get married in the future, it will still be difficult for our family to rely on me alone. After all, we have to pay off the mortgage and have 2 children to raise. I spit out a mouthful of coke directly. Do you still have 2 children? No, I'm not married, but my mother means it's better to have 2 children. 1 son and 1 daughter, make up a good word. He continued, I can raise you in the years when you are pregnant and take care of the child, but when the child is grown up you still have to go out to find a job. Women in the new era can't be raised as rice worms at home. Miss Gu should also have a feeling about this. Good man, the double standard is for you to play. That's right. I just heard you say you're going to pay off the mortgage. He nodded. Oh, I have a house with full payment in Haishur. I looked at his stunned eyes with satisfaction. Continued to ask, do you still want to raise 2 children? He nodded. I don't know how much savings you have. It's very expensive to raise children. I looked at him leisurely. He held his glasses and said proudly, I have more than 100,000 yuan in savings now, and I plan to pick up the car by the end of this year. Oh, more than 100,000 yuan? It just arrived at my head. I took care of my hair and felt that my elaborate makeup today was really a waste of cosmetics. The president asked me to wash up and wait for him at night. I proposed my resignation to the president, but the president sent me a room and a diamond ring in order to chase me. 39103 inch. How do I look? I looked at him and asked. Miss Gu looks good to my appetite. His satisfactory comments. Oh, then I'm good looking, have a house and savings. Why should I like you, a man with no money in his pocket, high sight than the sky, and more beautiful than dreams? Regardless of his angry blushing face, I picked up my bag and walked quickly to the outside of the store, intending to escape from this ugly place and the man below. At this moment, I am extremely in love with Yin Kai. Although he has a poisonous mouth and calls me as a little maid, at least he is handsome, rich, in good shape, good life, and generous. 9. What's wrong with your child? Your aunt said that Mr. Lee was about to die of anger. She said that you were uneducated and blamed me for not being a good tutor. How do I usually teach you? My mother called and scolded angrily. I just wanted to complain to her. Mom, can you ask your aunt to introduce all the cats and dogs? It doesn't matter if the photo and I don't have half a cent. I'm a toad and I want to eat swan meat. Didn't you pee in the mirror? While making a phone call and walking, I hit someone without paying attention. Excuse me. I apologized casually and then continued to complain to my mother. You didn't see him. His glasses are thicker than the bottom of a beer bottle, and his belly is bigger than my father's. 2 more. Why didn't he go to heaven? I wanted to leave, but my clothes were pulled. I fixed my eyes and saw that it was Yin Kai. He looked dark and calm, grabbed my mobile phone and hung up the phone. Gujuyue. I really looked at you. Haven't we already returned to the bridge? Why is Yin Kai here? You didn't answer the phone, blocked your WeChat, and you still come to the blind date? Do you like that pig too? Yin Kai gritted his teeth on the verge of the outbreak. Come on, if I keep his contact information he should be afraid, okay? There is a more conscious and considerate lover in the world than me, oh no, ex-lover. I looked at him like a fool and smiled decently. President, we don't care anymore. Even if I marry a dog, you don't care. Yes, you are worse than a dog. Yin Kai was completely angry and picked me up directly on the street. The princess hugged me and completely ignored the surprised eyes of passers-by. I can walk. You let me down and I'll go by myself. Damn it. What a shame. Are you an acrobat in the circus? You must wear such tall shoes. He looked down at my high heels and began to complain again. I can't help it. I'm not tall, only 1.6 meters tall. It's easy to look lacking in momentum. Inexplicably, I'm a dwarf. I'm not tall enough and I've been used to it for so many years. Stepping on 7 centimeters high heels I can walk flat and the wind under my feet, okay? Sitting on the sofa of the presidential suite he opened, I put my hands on my chest and looked at him vigilantly. I don't know if it's my illusion. I just tossed and turned and I felt a faint pain in my nervous lower abdomen. What's your expression? Rather die than give in? When did I force you? Yin Kai said angrily. Then he said, you are pregnant. I won't do anything to you. I'm not that perverted. I directly had a pupil earthquake. Am I pregnant? 10. Why don't I know about this? Who are you pregnant with? No wonder he is so angry. Do you think I cheated on him? Don't get me wrong, I definitely didn't cheat you. 24 hours a day as his secretary, I have been with him for at least 18 hours. How can I have time to develop another underground romance? He frowned and looked at me and I continued to explain. What child, you must have misunderstood. I may have milk tea, hot pot, fried chicken, hamburger, barbecue, fried skewers, but what about the child? Absolutely impossible. We have to take good measures every time, and I also take long-acting contraceptive pills. I know the child is not in a good condition, so you don't want to tell me. But no matter what, I'm his father, he said and told me that he was confused. If I hadn't heard what the front desk said that day, how long would you have been hiding it from me? I remember. Previously, in order to prevent the person in charge of Anne's from being angry because I was late, I asked the front desk to help me explain and lied that I went to the obstetric examination. But at that time, Kai was talking to him. Did the front desk and the person in charge hear everything? Then he mistakenly thought I was pregnant? Help! How to explain this? No wonder you suddenly mentioned marriage to me that day. It was really too hasty. I know you're scared. It's okay. I'm not the kind of irresponsible person. He put his arm around my shoulder, and the tall figure quietly covered me, and I trembled. I have already told my parents that the wedding is scheduled for Valentine's Day this year. Don't worry, they have long wanted to hold their grandchildren and like you very much. Do the chairman and the chairman's wife also know? I trembled even more. Help, where can I get a child for them? The whole world knows that I'm pregnant, but I don't know about it. Well, I think there may be some misunderstanding between us. I quickly slipped out of Kai's strong encirclement. While I was thinking about how to explain that he would not be so angry, Kai stared at the sofa. Very good, no need to explain. I said that I felt a little pain in my stomach just now. It turned out that my aunt came to visit. Looking at the rusty red blood on the sofa, it was better to be silent at this time. What's wrong with you? Let's go to the hospital. Kai picked me up nervously and wanted to take me to the hospital. 11. Have you ever seen someone come to your aunt? I couldn't stand shouting. Why was he so firm that I was pregnant? Kai seemed to be stunned by the blow. Just as I was brushing the stain with the hotel's disposable toothbrush, he sat on the bed for a long time without saying a word, as if he was thinking about something. Come here. He opened his mouth with anger in his voice. I didn't really want to go there, but the natural reaction engraved in my bones for so many years had taken me to his side before my brain could react. He knocked me on the bed and leaned down. The action was very domineering, and the scene was very beautiful. The only thing that was not good was, I didn't put on my aunt's towel. So I quickly arched up, my thighs gave strength, and my buttocks left the bed to make a standard hip bridge. What's the matter, President? I asked him seriously, and my eyes were full of longing for him to get up and get off me quickly. I was really tired. He was angry and wanted to laugh at my action. His handsome face was like he had eaten shit, which was very ferocious. Or you get up first. I opened my mouth weakly. He got up and looked coldly at me, wriggling out of bed carefully like a caterpillar. Looking at the white sheets, I was relieved. Perfect. Gujuyua. He said. You sold the house I gave you? I replied to him righteously. It's mine when it's finished, and I have the right to dispose of it. He doesn't want to go back, does he? It's impossible. Kai pinched my face angrily. I'm still lying in bed, and the agent brought someone to register the property. I've never been so humiliated when I grew up. Who knows that you still live in the house after you gave it away? However, when he woke up, he was surrounded by a circle of people. The scene was simply too beautiful. Resign? Have you asked me? Brother, let go of your hand first. It hurts. This is a face, not a decompression toy. He took out his mobile phone and took a pig's head photo directly to my face. I saw clearly that it was the original camera. Brother, at least add a beauty. In my complaining eyes, he actually set my ugly photo as a screensaver. Oh, what's wrong with me? He raised the mobile phone in his hand at me. I want to bite him to death. I think the relationship between us is over. I looked at him and said seriously, 12. It's over, not a lover. They are husband and wife. He straightened the cufflinks and said serious nonsense. When did this happen? Can you stop being so self-righteous? Return husband and wife? Did I promise? That's another price. Kai looked at me like an idiot. You don't understand what it means for a man to give a woman a ring, do you? I thought it was my breakup fee. Yes, the ring. Thinking of the 2 rings that had been sold by me, I felt guilty for no reason. But I'm not pregnant. This is a misunderstanding. You don't have to marry me to be responsible for me. I opened my mouth to remind him. He was angry with me again. You don't think I will marry someone who is pregnant with my child, do you? The person who married you just because you were pregnant is you. My heart beats faster in an instant. What does he mean? You little scrupulous. After 6 years, you will be reluctant to raise a dog. Will you turn around and leave? In fact, I also don't want to bear it, but I have always seen my identity very clearly. I'm just a lover. I'm not qualified to be reluctant. A low voice will only make people discount. He came over and took my hand and said, I'm not used to you walking these 2 days. Gujua, are you really going to let me write 3 books in 6 times? What do I deserve for you? I said in a low voice. He thought about it carefully. Well, it doesn't seem to be. He didn't wait for me to get angry and he continued. But if you like someone, do you still care whether it's worth it or not? Looking at his affectionate appearance, I admit that I was shaken. After all, we have been together for 6 years and we have been familiar with each other for a long time, and some things are really the more we love each other. Let me tell you something. He looked at me expectantly and waited for me to say something touching. The ring was sold by me. Before he could get angry, I quickly said again, Beso, my pants are almost wet. Can you stop being sentimental? Teen. That unsightly sofa actually cost me more than 80,000 yuan. I hate 5-star hotels and presidential suites. Packing his luggage angrily, Yin Kai asked me to go back with him immediately, saying that if I was patient for a minute, he would earn hundreds of thousands less, and the bill was all on me. My mother was chatting with him outside, and she almost asked him to take out the household registration book. You say you have such a good partner, why do you want to get married? Are you stupid? Seeing me pulling out the suitcase, my mother secretly poked me, but she looked at Yin Kai with a smile on her face. It's the kind of mother-in-law's way of looking at her son-in-law, and the more she looks at her, the more she likes her. We have just confirmed our relationship. I pulled the suitcase and signaled Yin Kai to leave quickly. When will you get married? My mother stared at me and said gently to Yin Kai. The shameless guy was also attached like a dog's leg. When are you going to get married? Soon 2 pairs of eyes looked at me together. With such a tacit understanding, they are a family. Isn't it said that the company has an emergency? The ticket is about to be booked. I dragged Yin Kai and ran away from the wedding scene. On the plane, thanks to Yin Kai, I sat in the first class, lying comfortably, closing my eyes to recuperate. Sir, do you need anything? The delicate stewardess has asked the man around me what he needs 5 times in a soft voice, but she has never asked me. TSK. The drunkard's intention is not wine. Husband, my stomach hurts. I need to rub it. I weakly took his hand and put it on my stomach. The stewardess obviously didn't expect that the master was next to her, and walked away awkwardly. 14. Sitting in the high-end cafe, looking at the woman in simple clothes but noble at a glance, I pursed my lips shyly. This is not good, is it? What's good or bad? Just take it for you. She took a sip of coffee elegantly and smiled gently at me. The light hit my wrist, and the emerald bracelet seemed to say, I'm expensive. You don't deserve to wear it. Now I feel that my wrist is a little heavy. After all, it is directly hung on it. How many times are you going to run away? She asked me with a sly face. Huh? Why run away? I asked puzzledly. She looked like I understood. Isn't President Wen like this? She ran away from him and chased her. She couldn't fly with her wings. She ran with the ball and ran away. How can she abuse her? After saying that, she muttered in a low voice. If I had known, I would have agreed to Yin Kai's father's marriage proposal so quickly. I have only run 99 times, and Mr. Lon and his daughter-in-law have run 999 times. I bow their heads at every party. I understand, but I was shocked. I thought rich women would compare bags and jewelry, gold, silver and jewelry, but I didn't expect that they would compare the number of runaway marriages. Mom, what are you looking for GUF for? Yin Kai's voice came from the mobile phone of the beautiful woman opposite. If you have a daughter-in-law, forget your mother. I'll give her 1 million and let her leave you immediately. She pretended to be angry and frowned at me. She seemed to be an excellent protected woman with the innocence of a girl. 1 million? If you give her 100,000 yuan, she will have to leave. Mom, don't mess around. Damn, am I that kind of person? I will definitely consider it before agreeing to 100,000 yuan. What do you like about such an ordinary girl? It's better than her to just pull one out of our circle. She continued to speak, and my heart was cold when she said it. Yes, I'm really not as good as those celebrities. They have a figure, a face and money. Alas. Don't come here. When you were young, you played hide and seek with my father. The circle was slightly more upright. Wasn't it booked long ago? Yin Kai exposed her mercilessly. I really like her. She is the most hardworking and unpretentious girl I have ever seen. I haven't thought about finding someone else for 6 years with her. I'm sure she wants to be with me for the rest of my life. His voice came through the phone, but it seemed to be close to my ear. My blood surged in an instant, and my face blushed like a monkey's butt. It turns out that I am so good in his mind. Moreover, she has good working ability. I have never met a more convenient assistant than her. If you get married, you can hire one less senior registrar accountant, which will save a lot of recruitment costs for the company. This week's skin. I thought he was good at my true, good and beautiful character, but I didn't expect that he liked my work ability. 15. What is the experience of marrying your own boss? Thank you for the invitation. I'm in bed. I just finished working overtime. It's hard to finish the company's affairs and have to work overtime to serve him. I just showed a little idea of resting and stopping some kind of life crab movement. Yin Kai silently threatened. The president's wife is also a position. You don't want to be deducted full attendance, do you? The DNA of this worker has moved, and full attendance can't be deducted. The hardship of one person working 2 jobs is that there is nothing but money in the card. In Kai has become more and more unrestrained recently. It is said that his parents were very disappointed that he had a fake pregnancy before. We should try our best to make a villain out to make the second old man happy. What's the benefit to me? My father said that as long as you are pregnant, the villa in the suburbs will be transferred to your name. He said lightly. This terrible money. I gave in. Come on, don't rest. Don't pity me just because I'm a delicate flower. 16. Girls should not be too high-sided. Pick here and there to make you worry. Xiao Li's conditions are so good. At the spring festival party, my aunt said strangely, because the previous incident of the toad under the beer bottle made her hold a grudge against me. What's wrong with the pick? We have capital to choose every month. This time my mother stubbornly retorted to her. Just in time. I haven't told you yet that Yiye is getting married. My mother proudly sent In Kai's business card to her relatives here, and almost wrote her eyebrows and exhaled on her face. Although In Kai and I have received the certificate, we haven't held the wedding yet. There's nothing we can do. It's too troublesome to hold a wedding. It takes more than half a year just to customize the wedding dress, and we are both very busy. That it can be said that I have to take time out of my busy schedule to get married. That In Kai of Yin's group? My aunt suddenly didn't look cold and took my arm enthusiastically. I just said that we have the ability to do it. Arrange a job for your cousin too. She gave birth to 2 children at home, and her husband kept scolding her for not working. I'm so worried. I pushed and dragged perfunctorily. The interface of the mobile phone lit up. When I picked it up, it was In Kai's message. Guess what I'm doing? He sent a picture. The background seems to be a high-end studio, and there is a sexy foreign beauty next to it. I'm a little angry. Don't guess. You are ordering a wedding ring for us. You can't sell it this time.